Hello, Internet. This is Blenderstyle. On this episode, Mindless Self Indulgence. How I learned to stop giving a shit and love mindless self indulgence. This album was released in 2013 on Uppity Cracker Records.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Son of a bitch! God likes me!
So, Casey, this is your pick. How did you learn to stop giving a shit and love mindless self-indulgence?
I think I never really gave a shit, and I've always liked mindless self indulgence, but this really turned it into a love.
Oh, this album for sure.
No, not really. It was probably Frankenstein Girls turned it into a love, but it was pretty decent.
So I know this from us as kids listening to this back in the day.
Yeah,
I don't know where it came
I
from.
think Brandon turned us on to this.
Who's Brandon?
Some dude.
Okay.
So I think we kind of got into this in like the maybe 99, 98,
Late 2000.
somewhere.
Yeah.
And it was kind of one of those mixed things that you could listen to that the girls weren't going to complain at a party because it was just hip-hoppy enough, but it was also just punk, edgy, metal-y enough.
I only listened to this at parties, and it was like appropriate every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a weird mix of like electropunk and pop and beat or backbeat and all kinds of weird stuff.
Nathan, are you familiar with mindless self-indulgence?
I am familiar with the one album, what is it, the Frankenstein Girls Will Seem Strongly Sexy.
Strangely sexy.
Strangely Sexy. I know that because a girl that I was seeing at the time was really into it. And if I listened to it, most likely I was going to get laid or something. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I listened to it.
That's kind of the vibe of this.
Yeah, there's sex all over it, dude.
It's sex all over it. Depravity.
Oh, for sure.
Debauchery.
This is throw all social norms out the window and be as politically incorrect as you can possibly be.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of tongue in cheek and a lot of
tongue in cheek.
So this genre, I think they call it electropunk, right?
Yes.
Which other bands that I was familiar with are like kind of close, not really, is like Prodigy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely some Nine Inch Nails vibe in this.
Yeah, maybe some Butthole Surfers with the parodies and things like that.
Good call, yeah.
There's
Ministry
like
sounding almost at times with the industrial stuff.
There's industrial vibes, but it's fast as fuck and not. It's fun, not sad or.
And there's guitars and stuff that are being played as well, so that's since it's fast and stuff. They
actually play these songs live, so there's an actual band that plays these. Which is
it's
cool.
not all electronic at all, but it's heavy electronics.
Oh, for sure.
And then his vocal delivery is like rapid, higher pitch, kind of blurting out lyrics relentlessly. Like he never stops singing, really.
No, he's always got something to say, and it's usually something that isn't appropriate for the situation.
Yeah.
Is this what cocaine feels like?
His voice almost even sounds like, like the tape when it gets eaten up, Wow, 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 it's like very like forward, fast, but also
like almost coming off the rails.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a definite train wreck underneath there getting ready to happen.
And the lyrics are dumb. They're like sophomoric, like I wouldn't say dumb, but they're like very.
They're not brilliant.
Well,
they're not bad, but they're not.
They're not brilliant, and they're not bad. They're a lot of self-depreciating humor and a lot of talking how great you are and building yourself up. But there's also a hint of like wisdom and like maturity underneath it, or at least maybe the meaning of them.
It's a big fuck the man.
It is.
They're fucked up lyrics.
Oh, they are. That's great.
Is that one of the things you like about it?
Yeah. So I love the mix. I love the mix of like all the different styles. There's punk in here. There's hip hop. There's what do I have? Backbeat hardcore, which I didn't even know was a genre until I started listening to them back in the day. Industrial. It's super tongue in cheek. It's not meant to be taken serious, and it can be taken serious and still hold its own, which is really cool. I love the fact that there's instruments on this, and that there's a drummer, there's a guitar player, there's a bass player, and they play all this live. Triggering the drums and doing all the weird beats that they do and stuff. It's it's cool. It works well.
Yeah, there's like little drum breaks and stuff.
Yeah, little breakdowns and stuff. It's cool. There's a lot of diversity in the styles. Like one song might just be really super punk forward, and then the next one might be more industrial forward.
Totally.
And they do a good job of mixing it up. And I think, like you said, Jimmy's vocals are all over the place. He might be screaming and talking and rapping and just blurting out a bunch of stupid stuff in rapid fire succession that you can't understand what he's saying. And it works really well.
He enunciates it well.
He does.
And I talk mad shit about the vocal or the lyrics, but that like a couple of the songs, I really think the lyrics are great.
Oh yeah.
It Gets Worse is my favorite song on the album, probably. He's like, you're gonna die alone. It doesn't get better; it gets worse unless you're pretty or whatever. Yeah. It's great. Yeah. It's fucking. I love how negative it is. His vocal onslaught is ridiculously badass. I love how it just never stops. It's like the high energy. This is fun to listen to. This is great party music.
Dude, seeing this live would be crazy.
Oh my god, sure. It'd be I'd feel like I was like on drugs. You know what I mean? It's just so.
Imagine the debauchery that would happen at a show like that.
It sounds like like a rave that I would go to, though.
I don't know that there would be a shit ton of people in the audience, but I think it would be a very, like you said, it'd be a fun, crazy show.
Why? Because nobody would go to see Mindless Self Indulgence?
Well, just because I don't know that they're really that popular. I mean, I think their popularity peaked at what?
Yeah, I think so too.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, and then they've just, I mean,
this was a crowdfunded record.
Yeah, this was a crowdfunded record.
So they were struggling to like.
I don't know if they were struggling. They've never.
Bands kind of been doing that.
They've always.
That was kind of a thing for a while, right? Doing crowdfunded.
Well, and they always license their albums to a record label. They're never signed in a traditional sense. They make the album on their own accord and then they license it. So they retain all the rights to it and stuff. So I think maybe just the crowdfunding was a way to offset that. So they're not pulling out of pocket for it, especially with production costs getting higher as they did, and they got a lot of stuff going on in this.
Man, bands were just doing it. It's not, it is what it is. But that's kind of what I liked about it too. Is just the energy.
Oh yeah,
like it's
there's even
start and go constantly. Like all the way through. I love the keyboards in it. I think the songs are put together well, like to even be like anthems.
Oh
like,
yeah,
there's, like,
for sure.
Tons of like sing along little parts in this.
Kill You and All on a Hip Hop Rage. I mean, that's calling all the crap music for what it is. It's great.
Yeah, I have to say we're bringing this song's been brought up a couple times. I hate that song.
I love that song.
I hate that he's like speaking for dead people too. You know what I mean?
I
like Tupac
songs.
And Biggie. They'd kill you.
Well, I like it because he's calling out other music for doing it, but he's doing the thing that he's calling other people out for.
Yeah,
and so it's like a tongue-in-cheek thing.
I do love that it's covered in sex.
Oh yeah,
and like debauchery. I love it. My favorite tracks are Witness, the first track, Fuck Machine, It Gets Worse, Hey Tomorrow, Fuck You, and Your Friend
song. That's
Yesterday.
Probably one of my favorite ones.
That totally gives me like a My Chemical Romance feel, even in like the chorus part. And Stalker, Slit My Wrists.
Oh yeah,
like I mean these are tracks that I'll go back to. So that's what I liked about it.
What'd you dislike about it, though?
Some of the lyrics are just ridiculous.
Real bad.
Yeah, and then some of it is kind of filler almost. Like, I feel like he just kind of, like, got late, just threw a bunch of stuff together and, like, hit fast, sped up the tempo. And I hate that Kill You All in a Hip Hop Rage. That song sucks so bad.
There's a couple songs that on here that just are not, I don't like.
Yeah. Like the songs that I brought up, I'll go back to. But
yeah,
that's pretty much my dislikes.
So I kind of agree with you that I feel like this was a really short album. What are we at? 13 tracks, 36 minutes. And that's kind of their thing. What was their first? Frankenstein Girls, their second album was 1,000 tracks. And like, a short album, some of the tracks are like 30 seconds long or whatever, which is cool, but I'm kind of with you. I feel like some of the lyrics on this are kind of just fan service, like because they were crowdfunded. I feel like some of the stuff was just crammed in there and it didn't necessarily go. Like the album starts off great.
I think he literally wrote that and wrote some of these lyrics and was like, "That shit's cool," like pumped about it.
Yeah.
And no, it's not. It sucks.
Some of it's like not
some of it is just bad. You know what I mean? These like you could tell this band is written and put together by a man that loves his own shit. You know what I mean?
I put on here. It feels like a frat party out of control.
That's totally what it feels. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it.
I mean, it's just a bunch of dudes talking about how great
these guys want to be at a frat party.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. It's that same thing, talking about
he's not at college. He just ended up at the party.
He's just drugging the girls.
He's the guy that's on year 5 at PC or year 8 in PCU, still hanging out with the kids.
Right.
No, but yeah. So he loves to talk himself up, which is cool. And then there's some more serious stuff in there, but I feel like this doesn't have the diversity of their previous albums. I really feel like it feels like a rushed album. I feel like their other albums, there was more of a range of musical style and emotion and context in it, where this one's all just talking about his dick and how much he'll fuck you, and he's badass, and like, you know, God loves him because he's a badass, and look at how great his life is. And I mean, it's cool and all, but after about 6 songs of the same thing, I'm like, okay, I don't need to hear it anymore. Let's do something else. Let's talk about some other shit.
There's 14 songs. There's like 6 really good songs.
As irritating as this guy is, like on this album, like the vibe that it has, one of the things I dislike, and this is going to sound weird, one of the things I dislike about it is I wanted to like trash this, and I'm like, I can't, it's good.
It is, yeah. So I picked this.
That's so good.
I actually...
you just said my same fucking thing. Like, I really wanted to fucking hate this.
So I picked this album because of the same thing. Because
I really, really wanted to fucking hate this. And now I have to profess my somewhat like of this album.
Because you gotta be honest. You're like, it's fucking good. I like listening to it.
Yeah, so I'm the same way. I picked this because I figured it was going to be the least performing Mindless Self Indulgence album, and I was going to be able to shit on it. Because I like their other stuff.
Oh, their other stuff's better.
Their other stuff's 100 times better. And this one, I was like, damn, this is still a good album.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off because it's not the best one, but it's up there and it's decent.
It definitely sounds like he probably locked himself in a room and like came up with this stuff.
I would like to know how quickly like he wrote this. Like, did they,
like one night?
Well,
dude.
that's what I'm saying.
Did they? So?
Did
it feels
just
like
on
that.
speed.
It just
doing
sounds
hot
like
rails.
It
all
sounds
night?
like meth, right? It's just
well,
constant.
but I wonder, like, did they throw the Kickstarter campaign up there? Like, oh, let's see if we get funded, and they got funded. He's like, fuck, I told everybody to have this in a week. Let's get going. Or did he write like half of these songs? Because that's what it feels like. Some of the like half of these songs, like you said, like 6 of them are great. They're well written, and then the other, you know what? There's 13. The other 7 almost feel like filler. Like they were just thrown together real quick.
Yeah, but they're only like a minute long. And
exactly.
Stuff,
so that's what I'm wondering. Did he demo like 6 songs like that he did working on, and then like, oh, let's get a record going,
and then just fill it.
And it got funded, and then he's like, I don't have time to do the rest. Let's just whip it all together real quick. So, based off our knowledge of Mindless Self Indulgence and where they've been and where they're going, what would you rate this?
I would rate this a 3.5 because there are some bangers on this, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said before, I have to like give credit where credit's due. Like, I'm totally not into stuff like this usually, and I greatly enjoy this. So I give it a 3.5. But Matt, what would you rate it?
I also give it a 3.5 out of 5.
We do that often.
It's really fast. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's fucked up. Like, I like it. Like, I don't love it, but I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And if this was on a party, I'd be like, yeah, it's fucking great.
Uh-huh.
So Casey, you've been a fan for a while, kind of, right?
Yeah.
What would you rate this?
So I also rated this a 3.4.
Psych.
Yeah, no, good outing. I would really love another album, maybe in the traditional sense, not crowdfunded, so it doesn't feel so forced, maybe. But Mindless Self Indulgence, like you guys said, they're just a fun listen. It's something you could listen to in the background and get a shit ton of stuff done around your house done. You could listen to it at a party. You could do it. You could listen to it and do a shit ton of drugs.
It's like drugs.
It is. It energizes
sex, drugs, and rock and roll, dude.
at its purest.
With a Casio.
Oh, dude, I love that song.
Yeah,
That song's
a good
heavy,
song.
dude.
Yeah.
This is Blenderstyle. That was Mindless Self Indulgence. How I learned to stop giving a shit and love mindless self indulgence.
Damn.
Nailed it.
Snailed it.